And in all the cases where I have had the interactions or some conversation, I try to follow up with an email to the person uh, saying, it was nice talking to you. Uh, this is the brief overview of Gyansis and so on. What happens in this kind of emails is at least you have one hook to, if in case something comes up in the future after a few months, you can always refer to this email, reply to that, so that you already have a rapport built up with this person. Even if the initial discussion was not so helpful, at least you have something to start the next conversation with. In case the discussion has led to a meeting, you have got a time and an appointment, then there are a few steps that you need to follow. What I generally do is, if the moment I have an appointment ready, I go to the WebEx, gansys.webex.com. I set up an initial meeting with the giving the description of name of the meeting, password. I generally use the password of the other account number, company name. Anyone who will look at the invite with the password as a company name will be happy to look at it. So I generally use the client name with the year 2011 or 12 in the as a password. And as an invitee, I always invite myself. That's it. I don't invite anyone else because it doesn't go out as a calendar invite. It goes out just as a mail. So it's not really helpful. It doesn't go to the other person's inbox. It is the person's calendar. So I just invite rakesh.singh at gansys.com. So this way I get an invite with all the details of the WebEx link and so on. I use the teleconference, which is the 1-800 number that we use at Gansys. I then go ahead to my Outlook, or rather my Google Calendar. I open a calendar invite. I copy paste the WebEx links, the phone number, and so on, and then invite the other person. In my case, I always invite Rajuna or Ram Rishi, depending on the case, and uh, and send the invite out. This way, it's there on the inbox. One thing I have recently learned is that just sending the invite does not ensure that the other person will show up. So there have been some cases where there have been no shows. So I have recently tried following up on this. If I don't get an invite or the response from the for the invite, I try to I tend to call up after a few days of sending an invite to, or I just leave a voicemail saying that I haven't got an acknowledgement yet. Is it all good on your calendar? And I also try to call up that just the day before, or the early morning, or the morning of that day of the call, to check with the person if he's joining, and leave a voicemail if I am not able to reach at least. These in the recent days, the chances of the person joining call has increased a lot if you do a process follow up. Follow up is also important before the call. Another few things I do before the call is I, of course, prepare a presentation. There's a standard deck that we use for most of the general service offerings. Until unless, of course, we know that it's regarding an upgrade or it's regarding a GSC, then that whole deck will change. But in case we don't know and we are having the initial discussion to understand, there's a general deck which use. I change the logo on the first page with the client logo, and I find some more SAP details or whatever is already available in Zoho. I prepare a concise summary of that, attach the presentation, and send it to the other persons who are going to be in the call. Rajuna, in most of the cases for me, I send them. I try to do it just before, a day before, or the same day of the call, so that it's right fresh in the inbox, and the other person is updated about what all to talk about in the call. So these are the few things I do